Aaron Rodgers' name has dominated free agency as he's one of the last dominoes to fall in this coaching carousel and player carousel of movement that has been going on in the National Football League. Aaron Rodgers has been linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and obviously in Aaron Rodgers fashion, there hasn't been any word of where he's interested. There will be a bunch of conversations about what team he wants to go to, and he'll probably come out and tell the world that he needs to do a darkness retreat, maybe go to Costa Rica and do some ashwagandha, whatever Aaron Rodgers is up to like normal. However, Cam Heyward had some great insight on how he feels about Aaron Rodgers' recruitment. He had pretty much said, if you don't want to be a Steeler, I don't need to convince you. In his quote, he had pretty much mentioned, I'm not doing any darkness retreats. He's not going to play around with ashwagandha. It's either you want to be a Steeler or you don't. That is his pitch to Aaron Rodgers. And so I do understand that Aaron Rodgers has been a media, I guess, enigma over his NFL career, as he has been, he has a hot and cold personality when it comes to how media view him. He's a very, very sarcastic, kind of a know-it-all at times. And for Aaron Rodgers, this is not a situation where I feel like he should think the NFL or the Steelers are at his mercy to make a decision. He's 40 years old, coming off of a ACL, Achilles injury, along with not playing the best football of his career with the New York Jets. Now, you can argue his interception and turnover ratio was decent, but he didn't play good football. I'd almost argue that the reason why his interception to turnover to touchdown ratio looked the way it looked was due to the fact that he held the ball a lot. He played a lot of conservative football for the New York Jets. And so if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm not beating down the door for Aaron Rodgers to come to my organization. If I'm the Steelers, if Aaron Rodgers wants to be there, great. I'd sign him to a deal, but I'd still draft Jackson Dart in the NFL draft. There's no reason for the Steelers to look at Aaron Rodgers as nothing more than a 1 to 2 year bridge for their organization. But the reality with Aaron Rodgers is he's still just living off his career. This is a player who has not been the same since moving over to the New York Jets. And I'd almost argue that when he left the Green Bay Packers prior to his arrival in New York, he wasn't the same guy. Now, can he spin it with the best of them? Of course. He will go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of this game. But who he is right now in 2025, are the Steelers really convinced that he is a guy that will lead them to a championship in the next 2 years? Because for the Steelers, it's first round playoff exit after first round playoff exit. And for Steelers fans, there has to be some level of growing frustration that, yes, you have a winning season every year, but you still hit the same stopgap every time. And you ultimately find yourself in the same situation every year. And so if you look at Aaron Rodgers and truly think he's going to change life for your organization, go and get him. But if you don't feel like you're at the mercy of Aaron Rodgers and his delayed reactions to making decisions about his future. And I agree with Cam Heyward. There's no reason for us to wait for the organization to wait for him to come out of a darkness retreat, sporadically go to Egypt during OTAs. These are things that haven't been conducive to winning. And I think people forget, yes, Aaron Rodgers has multiple MVPs, but he only has one Super Bowl run to his name. This is not a guy who has perennial rings. There's a reason why guys like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, even Eli Manning, were able to do better things in the playoffs than Aaron Rodgers.